Hi, second grade. Okay, so before we start to talk about where to put your quotation marks, I wanted to show you what quotation marks can look like. So you might see them in your books, or you might see them in a particular font on your computer, and there are different ways that people write them. The first way that I see the most is it almost looks like a little hug. It's two little curves in and then two little curves sort of like in the opposite direction, right? Almost like it's hugging the little phrase or the little word. You might see them like this, where they have a little ball at the top and a little ball at the bottom, but you still see that kind of hugging shape, right? And then you might also see them as straight lines, but you see how they're still a little curved in toward, like if this was your word, you put word in here, right? They would still sort of be curved in toward the word on each side, right? Like this is my word or my phrase, curved, curved, and then this is my word or my phrase, and two little lines slanted in or slanted in. So the one that I'm going to use today is this top one, because this is the one that I find is easiest for kids to use and to think about sort of the quotation marks just hugging whatever is coming out of somebody's mouth, whatever they're saying, okay? So I'm going to share a story that I wrote called The Missing Box. And this is a story that I wrote about a box that Simone had been using, that my daughter had been using for a long time, and it was starting to fall apart. So the first page of my story goes like this. "You be the person and I be Simone," Simone said. She closed the flap of the box as if it were the door. "Carefully," I said, but it was too late. I heard the familiar rip of cardboard. The box had been falling apart for weeks, and now it had finally lost its door. "Oh no," Simone said. Okay, so I want to go in and put some quotation marks around the parts that somebody said. And I actually chose to start my writing with some dialogue. I had Simone say, "You be the person and I be Simone." This is a thing that she says frequently. So those were the exact things that Simone said. She started talking right here. So I'm going to put my quotation marks right at the top of that word, and I'm going to curve them in a little bit as if it's hugging that word, right? To show my reader, okay, somebody's starting to talk. So Simone said, "You be the person and I be Simone." And that's where she stopped talking. I know that because then the next line says, "Simone said," right? But Simone didn't say Simone said, right? She didn't say those things. She just said, "You be the person and I be Simone." So this is where she's going to stop talking. And I'm going to show my reader Simone's done talking by putting my quotation marks there and kind of hugging them in towards the word. Now you can also put some punctuation here to show that her sentence is over. I'm going to put a little comma there to say she's done talking, but I'm still going to say Simone said. All right. So on the next line here, she closed the flap of the box as if it were the door. And then I said, "Carefully." "Carefully," I said. And that's all I said. I just said carefully, this word right here. So watch, if this is the only thing that I said, I'm going to put quotation marks at the beginning of that word. I'm going to curve them in towards the word. And then all I said was carefully. And I'm going to put quotation marks at the end. I'm going to put them after that exclamation mark because that exclamation mark is saying how I said carefully. So here it is. Carefully, I said. Okay, so you're going to look through your writing today and you're going to see if there's any places where you used dialogue, where you made characters talk, and you're going to try to put in some quotation marks around those words that characters said.